First green flag of the night is moments away. We are stacked up tight left and right, nose to tail. The lights are out. Dwayne Blair looking him over, looking for a jump. And out of turn 4 as the thunder builds, we are green flag racing. Lovell leads him down into turns 1 and 2. Leith and Chanik. And here we are for the third place spot. 12B getting into the mix. That's going to be Kevin McCullough peeking to the outside. We're going to get a good lead change right here for the third place spot. McCullough takes it away. Chanik on the chase. 13X of Matt Chanik. He's another fast car in this class. He's just had a little bit of a string of bad luck here in 2019 trying to get that monkey off the back. See if things can change. McCullough gets out of the corner nice and smooth, up to the wall, enters back down into turns 3 and 4. Bottom of the racing service is going to be quick here tonight. Fastest way around is always the shortest distance on this track right now. Back up front, oh, ladies and gentlemen, the 5 machine of Mr. Brandon Bearden gets a little sideways on the top of turn 2. Dips it down to the infield, gives up that second place spot. And going to have a little work to do right now with the battle for second place spots. Now going to be between McCullough and Chanik. Chanik's going to peek to the inside of turns 1 and 2. McCullough works to the top of the line of the racing service, cuts it down to the bottom. Here we are, staying clean and green with the 5 of Jeff Leith. Cross flags halfway home out front, looking good. And that old 83 Trackside Motorsports A1 Reynolds digging on them 41 shock. Savannah ain't got time for that. Lovell with about a straightaway distance on second place. So this may be her night to get in victory lane and move on up. Battle here heating up, though, in the second place spot. Matt Chanik has a good run to the inside of the 12B of McCullough down the backstretch. Chanik looks to the bottom of turns 3 and 4. Here comes the 5B of Brendan Bearden into the mix as well. He's going to pump the brakes and stay out of it just to let them sort themselves out, and McCullough's going to take that second place spot. Brandon Bearden now trying to peek away, and McCullough out of the gas, and here comes Chanik. Nice and dry dusty on the exit of turn 2 as the white flag waves for Miss Savannah. Ain't got time for that. Lovell works the top line of the racing service in turns 1 and 2 again. She hits a slick spot, learned the mistake, stayed out of the gas, didn't spin it out, and now looking smooth through the top of turn 3 and out of turn 4. Ladies and gentlemen, put it on together for the 83 of Miss Savannah. Ain't got time for that. Lovell. Front row with a nice and slow pace. Green flag up. Here we are, 12 laps. Who's going to get it done? Matt Chanik to the outside, down into turns 1 and 2. First corner's going to make all the difference. Chanik hits the brakes, crossover, down into the bottom of turns 1 and 2. Down the backstretch, we are going to go. Chanik giving a good run here on the first lap. Gets the bottom of the racing surface. We do stay clean and green. 6 more laps left. Here we are. Leader restarts them out to the exit of turn 4. We are back underway. Brandon Bearden looking to the inside of McCullough in turns 1 and 2 out of the exit. Getting off the wall is going to be McCullough. A little dicey there. Bearden's going to check up, not risk the inside line, and try to regroup for the pass here. Out of turn 4, back on the back bumper. As the 05 of Brandon Bearden. Bearden has been getting increasingly better in that number 5 in this rookie limited modified class. When Brandon started racing in this class, it was his first time to ever get in a race car. So a true rookie driving in that white and red number 5. And he has definitely improved leaps and bounds throughout the progress of the 2019 season. Bearden with a little bit of a mistake right there in turns 1 and 2, loses some ground, but here we go, 2 laps to go for your race leader. Miss Savannah ain't got time for that level. Working now into the top of turns 1 and 2. Looking to go flag to flag. The cushion of the racing surface is going to be taken care of here tonight. A lot of drivers working the top. Proving it right now is the 83 of Savannah Lovell taking the white flag whap. 1 more lap and 4 more turns for that 83. Out of turn 4, ladies and gentlemen, picking up her 3rd feature win on the year and earning herself a spot in the limited modified class with the big boys. The 83 of Savannah ain't got time for that level. Harbert sets the pace. Your pole sitter. Here we are, green flag racing. And we're going to go wheel to wheel down to the turns 1 and 2, and the outside is going to be the 4A of Colton Autolet, the Autolet Honey Farms. Here comes the 29 of Mike Walling to the bottom of 1 and 2. Slingshot right on past, jump into the lead. He's going to try to not look on back. We do stay clean and green through lap number 1. Battle for the 3rd place spot. We've got David Weibel looking down into the bottom of the racing surface. Colton Autolet taking the top entrance, works the middle all the way through. Weibel with a pretty good run out of turn number 2. Down the backstretch, we're going to go. Weibel tries the bottom in 3 and 4 once again, dodges the tractor tire. And once again, we do stay clean and green. These guys haven't had many races down here as far as a non-sanctioned group goes, so we're giving them an opportunity to kind of get a little extra seat time out here on what can be dubbed as the tricky triangle sometimes, out at Golden Triangle Raceway Park. And the 4A of Colton Autolet looking to the inside of Robert Harbert in the 17. We're going to go wheel to wheel down the backstretch out of turn number 2. Autolet on the brakes, doesn't let Harbert get to the bottom. Harbert cuts to the bottom, gets in front of the 18 of Weibel, and now we've got ourselves a new 2nd place spot, the 4A of Colton Autolet, as we are now halfway home with the man out front. And the number 29, Mr. Mike Walling. Walling not looking back. He's got a good straightaway on 2nd place. Walling, he's driven mod lights, he's driven 305 sprint cars, and now he's kind of settled down into running the 600 micros, and he also will from time to time jump on in a mod light and still rock it around whatever track he is at. So it's safe to say that Mike Walling can get behind the wheel of any open-wheeled car and just about drive any way that he wants to. And we're seeing that showcased here tonight. Track conditions nice and smooth, and as well as with smooth is going to be dry. We had a lot of sun baking in to our area this afternoon, and no matter how much water we put on this racing surface, it dried it right out. As the white flag waves, here he is taking his final 2 corners in that black and orange 29, Mr. Mike Walling. Lights are out, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, non-sanctioned 600 mini sprint racing. Great start for the 29 of Mr. Mike Walling. Leads him down into turns 1 and 2 on the chase hard. Here comes the 4 of Colton Autolet and the 17 of Harbert under the inside of Mr. David Weibel. Robert Harbert bikes it hard in turns 3 and 4. Lands back on all four wheels, though. Around here, our leader going to restart it. Mike Walling on a turn 4 on the chase. Colton Ottolet and David Weibel. Ottolet trying to reel some distance in with the 29 of Mike Walling. Good lap for him right there. Walling and Ottolet running that same line, except Ottolet's going to keep it down a little lower to the tires and not drift up so much in turns 1 and 2. Cross flags halfway home for your non-sanctioned 600 micro sprints. Out front, Mike Wallen in the 29.48. Colton Ottolet in the 18 of Mr. David Weibel. We had one take a tumble early on in this contest. And after that single file restart, it's just to be stretched out, single file. No one seems to have anything of a contention here for the 29 of Mike Walling. Walling with a straightaway on second place through turns 1 and 2, continuing to stretch his legs and put a little real estate. Looking for some oceanfront property right now in Arizona, trying to find anything to work with is Colton Ottolet in that second place spot. On the charge, though, is the 18 of David Weibel. Weibel very new into this micro sprint class, but you know what? After about a season and a half, he is working that wheel very good, getting more comfortable and confident in that car. And you know that's one thing that it's going to take to be in any race car is have the confidence and trust in your machine to do what you want it to do. And the man who's got it figured out is that race leader in turns 3 and 4. Taking the checker flag out of turn 4. Ladies and gentlemen, the 29 of Mr. Mike Walling in the 58 is going to set that pace. Good buddy Mason Baker to his right, so this is going to be a fun one here. Once the green flag drops, nice and slow pace, and Dwayne Blair sets them loose on a turn number 4. Baker leads him down into the corner. John Weibel hardened in the gas, ready to go, but had nowhere to go in that first corner. Trying it once again here in turns 3 and 4. We're looking to stay clean and green. A little push there by the 46 of Bridges. And that's battle for the third place spot's going to be very, very interesting. Weibel and Bridges, 46 and 18. Weibel looking to the inside for the crossover on the exit of turn number 2 down the backstretch. Not going to have enough to get it done, so Bridges blocks the bottom. He's going to stick the bottom all the way through, make Weibel go to the top. And Weibel tries the top in turns 1 and 2, gets way dusty out of the gas. And now he's going to have to gather some things back up as now Bridges is going to be working here on the 58 of Ron Brown. Brown was your pole sitter, took the second place spot right out of the gate into turns 1 and 2 is the 12 of Baker stretching it out. Bridges there with a slight mistake on the exit of turn number 2 allows the 58 to get a little real estate between he and that third place spot as we are now cross flags halfway home. In turns 1 and 2, that black and white number 12 of Mason Baker. They told me earlier that it is for sale. 10-8 gets you everything race ready along with some extra parts in that number 12, 10,800. And right now, Mason Baker getting the elbows up, having to work the feet on a dry slick track. 2 laps to go as the battle for the second place spot heats up. Randy Bridges reels back in the 58 of Ron Brown. Bridges looking to the inside in turns 1 and 2. Brown's going to have a real good corner from the entrance and stretch that distance out a little bit between he and Bridges. Now here comes the 1 and only 18 of John Weibel as the white flag raised for your race leader. Weibel back into the mix. Had a mistake, wound up in the back of the pack back there with the 12B of Barry McCullough. And now here, knocking on the back door of the 46 of Randy Bridges. Into turn 3, ladies and gentlemen, and out of turn number 4, the number 12 of Mr. Mason Baker picking up your Arnell Truck Repair first heat race. Good start up front. Here we are, green flag racing. Kroom and Metz lead them down into turns 1 and 2, but here comes Denby Sr. and Jr. showing the little young man rookie, Mr. Caleb Kroom, how it's done, squeezing them 3 wide off the exit of turn 2. Denby and Denby in the second place spot, trying to chase down Mr. Robert Metz. A little squirrely there by the 22 at Denby Sr. Gathers it back up on the exit of 2. Crossed flags halfway home. Robert Metz out front, but he's going to get a little pressure from the 15 of Tracy Denby Jr. That Arnell Truck Repair 955 is going to have a little work to do. Denby Jr., he knows he's quarter mile very well, but you know what? So does Robert Metz. Metz has driven modifieds, late models, limiteds, factory stocks around this track, and he is very comfortable in anything that he gets in out here at GTRP, and so is that 15 of Denby Jr. First lap out of turn number 2, Denby Jr. and Senior split Caleb Kroom 3 wide to take it into 2 and 3 for the Denbys. And now with 2 laps to go, Denby Jr. has an opportunity here on the 955 of Robert Metz. Metz scrubs a little speed on the exit of turn number 2. We're going to lead him down into turns 3 and 4. Metz goes up high. Denby Jr. down low. We're going to be door to door on the exits. Robert Metz knows that he's coming. He's got to make no mistake in turns 1 and 2. Denby Jr. once again with a nice smoothing corner in turns 1 and 2. Back down into 3 and 4. Final corner, final time. 955 of Robert Metz out of turn 4, taking the checkered flag in heat race number 2. Arnell Truck Repair Limited Modified A-Main getting ready to set loose. Racing our way to Rush Truck Center Victory Lane. The green is up. Here we are. It is showtime. Ron Brown in the 58 going to lead him down into turns 1 and 2 on the brakes, and on the bottom is going to be the 12 of Mason Baker. There goes the 58 of Ron Brown trying to get back up to the wall. Denby gets a little touch and go. Now Denby flying with some sheet metal. Tracy Denby Jr. into the second place spot. We do stay clean and green through lap number 1 here in this one. Baker up to the top with a run off the top, gets past the 58 of Ron Brown. Now to the inside of Brown's going to be the 22 of Tracy Denby Sr. Sr. looking for a way around the 58 of Brown. We do stay clean and green once again with a lot of close racing going on here to the middle of the pack. Touch and go, ladies and gentlemen. Tracy Denby Sr. with a move to the inside of Ron Brown out of turn 2. Brown going to try to gather it back up to work the outside of 4, and it's not going to be enough for him. Here comes the 49C of Caleb Kroom. Kroom's been picking up a lot of speed and more consistent laps, and he's going to peek to the inside, but look into the inside down the backstretch. There's going to be Tracy Denby Sr. looking inside of 12 of Mason Baker. Caution flag comes out. Set him loose on a turn 4. We are green flag racing once again. Everybody on the brakes hard, trying to get that desired line to the middle of the racing surface. And scrubbing there is going to be the 22 and 12, Denby Sr. and Mason Baker. Looking to the inside, your race lead, Denby Jr. looking for the 955 of Robert Metz. Metz trying to hold on as Denby Jr. is looking for any way around possible. Denby Jr. to the inside, can't get a bite to get the drive out of the corner. Looking to the inside, here it is. Spot opportunity for the 15 of Denby Jr., and he is gonna take it. Mistake by the 955 of Robert Metz opens the door for Denby Jr. He tips his cap and walks on through. And now the 955 of Robert Metz is gonna be on the chase. Trying to work some magic here is Tracy Denby Sr. battling here against the racetrack, trying to look for any bit of groove that he can. Here comes the 12, though, of Mason Baker once again. He's not done with Tracy Denby Sr. 12 and 22, battle for the third place spot, looking to the edge of the podium. On the hunt is the 49C of Caleb Kroom. Ron Brown in the 58 trying to hold off the 46 of Randy Bridges. Your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars is going to be Denby Jr., Metz, Baker, Denby Sr., then Baker, and Kroom, your top 5. Battle here, 6th place spot, heating up, looking to the inside is Randy Bridges. Brown's going to get the spot advantage into turns 1 and 2 once again as we are 2 laps to go for your race leader. Stretching a little bit of real estate into 3 and 4 is going to be Brown, but on the gas with a good run from the bottom. And Baker to the infield is going to be the 46 of Bridges. White flag for your race leaders. Out front in the 15 with lap traffic ahead of him is Tracy Denby Jr. He's got to hold on here, works the bottom, stays smooth, doesn't risk it for the biscuit, and picks up your R&L Truck Repair A-Main, the 15 of Tracy Denby Jr. We are Baker Oilfield Service Street Stock Racing. Guillory and Pepper, a little battle right there in turns 1 and 2. Pepper going to try to reel him back in here going into the corner. Pepper with a good entrance, squarely exit, and that's going to be all 3 of Brent Guillory for the 3rd place spot. And up front, the chase begins for the 83 of Randy Lovell out front and the 33 of Paul Baker. Going to try to run him down. And nice and slick is the track. Baker finding that out a little bit. So now Paul Baker is going to have his hands and elbows busy trying to work his way back up to Randy Lovell, who is now slight adjustment. So Ryan Rhino Harris is driving for Randy Lovell in the 83 Street Stock. So Ryan Harris is in the 83 Street Stock right now. And he is out front with Brent Guillory in the 3 in the 2nd place spot. And now in 3rd is the 33 of Paul Baker. Cross flags halfway home for the 83 machine of Mr. Rhino Harris. On the chase is the 3 of Brent Guillory and the 33 machine of Paul Baker. Baker had a bobble in turns 3 and 4, dropped all the way back to last place, worked his way past Pepper, and now cutting into the lead of that second place car of Brent Guillory. So Paul Baker having to get the elbows up and do some driving to reel back in the second place spot and try to get a little groove going for him. He's going to get up there in the dust in the top of turns 1 and 2, backs out of the throttle, stays off the wall, gathers it back up, now back into turns 3 and 4. Brent Guillory having a good run here tonight. Brent had a little bit of a bad luck stint over our last 2 races out here at GTRP, and you know what? He got the monkey off his back, looking at a good second place car right here. Entering nice and smooth on the dry slick track. It is one of those racing surfaces tonight that hitting the brakes too hard or getting in the gas too hard. And there goes the 3 of Brent Guillory. Guillory had some issues earlier in the night. Doesn't look to have them fixed after getting a great run for about 3/4 of the race. White flag waving for Rhino Harris. Looking to head down to Rush Truck Center Victory Lane here tonight. And out of turn 4, ladies and gentlemen, picking up your Baker Oil Field Services Street Stock A main in the 83, Mr. Rhino Harris. Gentlemen, 2R Fantasy Fireworks, Ryan Roberts got the dub last time. Can he do it again? We shall see as the green flag is in the air. Down into turns 1 and 2 we go. It's going to be a single file entrance for the first 4 cars. Working the outside is going to be the 2-1H of Chad Herring. Herring looking to the outside of Paul Vanderpool, gets a spot and the advantage down into turns 3 and 4 we go. Working the bottom in the 3rd place spot is going to be the 9C out of South Texas, Miss Caitlin Leonard. First time out here at GTRP. First time also on asphalt pull-offs. Going to try to handle the tricky triangle dry slick track style, and here comes the 2-1H, Chad Herring. Look into the inside of Leonard in turns 3 and 4. Both drivers on the brakes, giving each other a little bit of room and respect. Here through 3 and 4, we do stay clean and green out front. Robert Metz in the 3D with the 2R of Ryan Roberts on the chase. Back to the 3rd place spot, Leonard holding her own. Keeping that back bumper clear of the 2-1H of Chad Herring. Herring looking for any way around here in turns 3 and 4. Goes to the top, tries to cross over, decides to opt out of the option and stay right there on the same line. 3 laps down of the scheduled 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we are. Single file in groups of 2. Wrong person. Out front, Robert Metz in the 3D, trying to deal with the 2R of Ryan Roberts. Roberts, he got the win on Memorial Day weekend, and he's trying to carry some of that weekend momentum out here to GTRP again a couple weeks later. And we're going to go here back into turns 3 and 4. There we go, down the backstretch. 9C of Caitlin Leonard and the 2-1H of Chad Herring. Battle for the 3rd place spot has been consistent since the green flag dropped. Looking at it now with 2 laps to go for your race leaders and for the battle for 3rd. Top 3 are going to go to the scales and tech. And we're going to see who's going to take this final spot right now. Herring looking to the inside of turns 1 and 2. Can't get enough done there on the exit. White flag waving for the battle for the race lead. Ladies and gentlemen, out of turn 4, down the backstretch we go. And Ryan Roberts is going to slowly work his way to the inside of the 3D of Robert Metz and kind of make Metz go up the racing surface just a little bit. Both drivers all the way on the gas, and it's going to be Ryan Roberts getting heat race win on the last lap and out of turn. On the chase, Gary Morgan in the 30, Randy Corndog Level in the back. Here we are, green flag racing. Randy Lovell with a good crossover to the inside of Jeff Castile, and 91 of James Huff takes the advantage to work that way underneath as well, but he's going to give that corner back up. We do stay clean and green through lap number 1. Smoke pouring out of the 30 of Gary Morgan, helping us take care of our mosquito problem out here in the rice fields of Southeast Texas as we go back up to the race, battling right now for that third place spot. That's the key right here tonight. Jeff Castile in the 30C and the 91 of James Huff. Huff loses a little bit of momentum there as he scrubs that back end out, gathers it up very nicely from getting into the dust as we do stay clean and green through lap number 3 of the scheduled 8. Jeff Castile with a run, looking at Randy Lovell. Lovell with a few issues there on the exit of turn 2, and now here we are back into turns 3 and 4. A little bit of fluid coming out from the 30 of Gary Morgan. He gets the okay clear to leave the racetrack. And so we do stay clean and green. We don't let that motor get a little too crazy. And there goes Jeff Castile into the wall on a turn number 2. James Huff once again looking to the inside of Castile in that 30C. 91 of Huff right around the bottom, looking for the pass. It's going to be door to door down the front stretch into turns 1 and 2. It's going to be a drag race with Castile having the spot and the advantage. Huff back on the chase as we are now going to take 2 laps to go for your race leader. Miss Savannah ain't got time for that level. She got the dub in the Rookie Limited Modifieds, and she's looking to get one here tonight in the factory stocks. Problems for the 83 of Randy Corndog Lovell. He's going to get track clearance to exit the racing surface, and now we are finishing with 1, 2, 3 cars. Lovell, Castile, and Huff. 1, 2, 3 as the white flag comes on out for that Trackside Motorsports 83. Working the middle to the top of the racing surface in turns 1 and 2. Light on the brake, easy on the gas, dry slick track like driving on ice. Into turns 3, folks, and coming on out of turn 4. Make some noise for Miss Savannah. Ain't got time for that level. Andy Lovell, Paul Vanderpool, Jamie Sanford rounds out your field, and here we are, folks, green flag racing. We hold our breath through 1 and 2. Jeff Castile up there on the wall with the 1H of Mr. Chad Herring, staying clean and green through lap number 1. (21H) making another move here, looking to the inside of him is going to be James Huff in the 91. Huff to the inside, doesn't have it. Chad Herring peeking to the inside of Jeff Castile, almost getting the KO is the 91 of James Huff. Huff barely misses him on the entrance of turns 1 and 2, and now we're going to be working here single file, waiting to see who's going to make a mistake, if anything at all. Everyone kind of stretching out, running their own little line. 83 of Randy Lovell getting some smoke pouring out from the back end of that machine. There comes, once again, 21H of Chad Herring to the inside of the 30C of Jeff Castile. Castile to the outside. We are going to be door to door down the front stretch. Herring to the inside, good corner, chops it down and gets the run off the back. Can Jeff Castile recover right now? Castile stays to the top of the racing surface. Advantage going to still be the 21H. And to the wall a little bit is the 3D of Robert Metz. Metz is going to lose some ground, and here comes the 21H of Mr. Chad Herring charging hard. Mistake there can cost you another good corner for the 21H of Chad Herring, holding off Jeff Castile and James Huff. Working more towards the front of the racing surface. Ladies and gentlemen, calm, cool, and collected. You're racing the 2R of Ryan Roberts. Roberts started out on the front row and hasn't looked back. Calm, cool, and collected on an island with nothing but his thoughts. And stop to top, turns 1 and 2 is going to be Randy Corndog Lovell with a right rear flat, ending his night here in this one. Hold our breath on the start. We do stay a nice and smooth pace. Out of turn 4 down the front stretch, we are going to go to our Ryan Roberts. Leads them down into turns 1 and 2. Mistake there by the 83 of Savannah Lovell. Gathers it back up and gets into the mix. Here comes charging hard the 91 of James Huff and Caitlin Leonard with cross flags halfway home. James Huff, good battle, working the inside, and mistake by Huff. Just as the compliment comes out, had a great run on the 83 of Lovell. Here's the top side, going to be going to the 9C of Caitlin Leonard. Leonard chops the corner down in the middle, run off the top, and here we go down the backstretch. Sitting on the outside of the top 5. Trying to get on in there, but to get past the old 91 of James Huff. James has been a tough competitor here in this factory stock class. He's only been running for last season and halfway through this season. And here he is in a nice and strong top 5 run right now, having to stay off the back of the 83 of Lovell. Lovell having to try to pick her line and be patient for the 21H of Chad Herron. Herron with a good run there for the 3D of Mr. Robert Metz. Metz goes to the top. Here comes Herring to the inside on the exit of turn 4. We're going to be door-to-door for just a moment. And he'll stretch the legs back out here now, door-to-door. Battle for that 4th place spot. James Huff goes to the bottom. Mistake by Metz. Pinched off is going to be the 83 of Lovell. She gets on by. Metz is now going to be your 5th place spot. Issues for Robert Metz as now the 9C and the 30C work their way on by. 2 laps to go. Metz is going to come to a stop atop turn 3 and 4. Chase right there on the back bumper, giving no room, is the 21H of Chad Herring right there with him. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, back underway for a green-white checkered finish. We stay clean and green to the first lap, taking the white now with the 91 of James Huff to the inside of the 21H of Chad Herring for just a moment. James Huff making a hard push right here in the final laps of this one. Doesn't get it in turns 1 and 2. Here comes the 30C of Jeff Castile peeking to the inside of Miss Caitlin Leonard. And the outside of the top 5, taking the checkered flag out front, is the 2R, Mr. Ryan Roberts. Green flag set to come out of turn 4. We're going to see how this one's going to stack up here tonight. James, Denby, and Cone. 1, 2, 3. Here we go down the backstretch. Norval Cone looking to the bottom of the racing surface, getting up on the bars. And here comes the number 51 of Tracy Denby Jr. Junior looking to the top side of turns 1 and 2. Gets a little love tap on the quarter panel from the 75 of Cone on the entrance. Going to upset the car a little bit, but that's all right because here he is driving it back deep into the corner. Going to get the power out of 4. Reeling him back in. Going to make the 2nd place battle a little interesting. Norval Cone hasn't been running a very full schedule lately, but you know, when you've been around the ballgame for a while, even if you don't make every race, it comes back to you. All that knowledge and laps that you've put under your belt and under the helmet. And he's showing some of that right now, working his way around this nice and smooth, dry, slick track out here at Golden Triangle Raceway Park, getting up on the bars all the way down the backstretch into the corner. Holding off the 51 of Tracy Denby Jr. Jr. looking to the inside. We're going to go door-to-door on the exit. Now Norval Cone, love tapping it all into the wall down the front stretch, gathers it back up, doesn't let it get away from him. Too bad, and so he's only going to drop 1 position and have to try to reel in the 51 of Tracy Denby Jr. Jr. now with his eyes set on the 83 machine of Mr. Adam James. James was your pole sitter, took the green flag and did not look back, but he's going to look at a mistake by his own self right there, as now going to open the door for the 51 of Tracy Denby Jr. Junior going to look to the inside on a turn 4. He got the last position, working the bottom of 3 and 4. Can he do it once again? 2 laps to go, wheel to wheel. We're going to see who's going to get the elbows up here in the battle for the race lead. Adam James in that nice and fluorescent 83, a scorer and an announcer's dream, easy to see, easy to read, as the white flag comes on out for he and the 51 of Tracy Denby Jr. Junior working the bottom of the racing surface, trying to get a little extra run there, expecting Mr. James to make a mistake in turns 1 and 2, trying a different line. Here we go, 3 and 4. There's a mistake by James, but he gathers it back up. Not enough for Denby Jr. Adam James in the 83 picking up the IMCA first heat race. Rockefeller, here we are, green flag in the air. We are racing. 3 wide, ladies and gentlemen. Cody Leonard, the South Texas native, getting wheel to wheel with the guys here in the top of turns 1 and 2. And now looks to be a little bit of a mistake there by the 2 of Rockefeller. He's going to gather it back up. And we're going to keep an eye on that. Looks to be a little off the pace. But here, Jared Herring and Cody Leonard battling hard for the 2nd place spot. Herring's ran this quarter mile many a time before. And first time here on the quarter mile is Mr. Cody Leonard. Leonard out of the gas and gets up towards the wall right there on the exit of turn number 2. Doesn't slam it, and he's going to work on getting this ground gathered back up and try to reel in Mr. Jared Herring in the 1H. But you know who doesn't want the 1H to get any closer is a man out front, the 32, Mr. Bo Begno. Begno learned this quarter mile racing junior mini stocks, factory stocks, and now here he is in an IMCA modified, running with the big dogs. And it's pretty cool to see a young man work his way up from the ranks and go run on a national tour event of 8 races with the Red River Tour and come back to the old roots of Beaumont, Texas. Taking it now, 2 laps to go out of turn number 4. Begno, Herring, and Leonard, 1, 2, 3. This is going to be a very interesting night as the racing surface continues to change with each lap. As a little bit more of the dust and dry sleet gets a little blown off as the white flag comes on out for Mr. Bo Begno. 1 more lap and 4 more turns for that number 32 from Spring, Texas. Into turn 3, taking it nice and smooth on the exit of turn 4. Put it on together for the 32 of Mr. Bo Begno. Together, here we are on a turn 4, green flag racing. Bo Begno leads him down into turns 1 and 2, gets way sideways in front of the field. Collected with him is the 51 machine of Tracy Denby Jr., but they are going to keep going, and caution flag comes in. Adam James leads him out of turn 4. Here we are. Caution flag coming back out. 83 Adam James, slow pace. Here we are. Outside is going to be Jared Herring. Green flag. Herring gets a whole shot out of the exit with James and Leonard on the chase. Leonard with a good head of steam going into turns 3 and 4. South Texas native, first time up here running at Golden Triangle Raceway Park. See what he is going to do here in this one. He's got Adam James in the crosshairs. Here comes Tracy Denby Jr. and around goes the 75 of Mr. Norval Cone in turns 1 and 2. He's going to keep that green flag out in the caution in the back pocket of Dwayne Blair. And now on the exit of turn 4 is going to be the 51 of Tracy Denby Jr. All right, green flag back underway. Leader sets them loose out of turn 4. Jared Herring on the point with a run off the top is going to be the 12 of Cody Leonard. Leonard with a head of steam again into turns 3 and 4. This time looking to the bottom, trying to get a little groove going to the inside of Mr. James, and it's not going to be enough. Here comes the old number 2, a Chad Rockefeller. Rockefeller goes down to the inside. Leonard up top. Spot advantage still going to the 12 of Cody Leonard while he tries to work on the 83 of Mr. Adam James, but out front, calm, cool, and collected is going to be the 1H of Mr. Jared Herring. Into turns 3 and 4. Chad Rockefeller looking to the inside of Cody Leonard. And on the exit, it's going to be door-to-door for just a moment before the car hooks up and goes off the top for Leonard. Track surface continuing to change throughout this one, lap after lap. Dry, slick racing conditions are, well, needless to say, in full effect. Once again, getting to the inside is going to be Rockefeller. Off the top is Leonard. Main battle on the racing surface right now is for that third place spot. Cody Leonard in the number 12. And the number 2, Chad Rockefeller. Off the top again and on the bars all the way down into the corner is the 12 machine of Cody Leonard. This is his first time running his IMCA modified at the quarter-mile high banks here at GTRP. And needless to say, the tricky triangle seems to be treating him well. Crossed flags halfway home for your race leader, Jared Herring. Reeling in the second place spot, ladies and gentlemen, Cody Leonard giving Adam James a run for his money on the exit of turn number 2. Leonard has turns 3 and 4 figured out. Trying it here, looking to the inside in 1 and 2. Can't get to the inside quarter panel, but he sets himself up for success in turns 3 and 4. Leonard working the top where the grandpa keeps the good bourbon, ladies and gentlemen. Right rear on the cushion, letting the big dog eat. The number 12 is looking like a bottle of Macallan 12 around the top of Golden Triangle Raceway Park here at Beaumont, Texas. Big battle here for the third place spot. Mistake made by Adam James in the 83. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, in turns 3 and 4, gets up to the door. Cody Leonard now looking at it. Leader takes 5 laps to go. Spot advantage off the corner is gonna be the 83 of Mr. Adam James by a hair at the flag stand. Leonard trying it once again, and on a turn number 2, second place in the 12 is gonna be Mr. Cody Leonard. Can he hold on to it, ladies and gentlemen, and not let James get back in this one? Out front, working his way through turns 3 and 4 is none other than our race leader, the 1H of Mr. Jared Herring. Herring was another one of these drivers that ran the Red River Tour a week ago, and he is carrying that momentum and success here at the GTRP. Lap traffic going to come into play right now. 2 laps to go for your race leaders. 27 is your lap car. That is going to be Mr. Justin Delgado. Leonard looking to get on by. Delgado goes to the top. Leonard's going to try to peek to the bottom to get a lap car between he and the third place spot, and he's going to make that happen as the white flag is going to wave for the 1H of Mr. Jared Herring. In turns 3 and 4, Third place gets on by, picking him up down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. Ladies and gentlemen, in the 1H, getting your IMCA modified feature win to rush Truck Center Victory Lane, Mr. Jared Herring.